finally time to make the hood cut. I think the power bulge, which was on the first gen but not used on the second gen, just there for looks, I'm gonna cut it in half and turn the bowl upside down. It'll be an air intake because that's right where the intake goes. Or, you know, if I want to ever move the intercooler, I can put it there. And then the thing that's stopping the engine from the hood from clearing is this cap. So I gotta cut out the bracing under there. I'll just cut it big and go home. I think that's a good line. I don't really like how that turned out, so maybe I can just do like the main ridge, cut that out, turn it upside down. But you know, of course it's raining. To get back to it. So this is how the scoop is so far. I've put a lot of bends in it here, and you know, I curved this down a lot. I curved this down. I bent this part down and curved this up. And I know there's a cut line from the grinding, but that actually has helped me to butt it up all the way against the line, because now I have some room to like maybe make some metal that'll go in there and in there. It's pretty good, except it's probably gonna rain on me again, so there we go. Well, I think I like that. Here's the down angle. Big scoop, but you know, lots of air. That's my favorite angle by far. There's lots of like little hammer marks, but I'll just sand those out. I don't think I'm gonna punch them through. I'm happy with that. Looks good. I should make a cover for when it rains. If I had half a brain. Well, so I cut a lot out of the hood, but it fits. Where is it? So the hood that I borrowed metal from also had a power bulge in it. So let's see if it fits. You know, that's not bad. It's not bad. Cool. I didn't record myself because I was just going for it. I first tacked with the stick welder, and it made such a mess that I decided to buy a MIG welder, and I was also able to fix my clutch. Look at that. I like that. I think the action with this is I'm going to combine the bumper, the hood, and fender into one piece, and it'll like fold forward like a British car. And because I'm sure that the wheels that I have are going to be wider, and I'm probably going to have to make the fenders a little bigger. And so I need to make molds of the fender and the hood. And I could fill this with Bondo, these cracks, but the problem is that all these little tacks would probably barely hold on if they're flat. So I'm going to weld all the seams and then sand them or grind them flat, and then take a mold of this. Plus also the metal's kind of warped as it is, and I can actually hammer on it if it's all one piece. I can make it kind of smooth into a transition that I like. Cool. Let's do it. Not much to see here, just a guy who doesn't know how to weld burning holes in the sheet metal. So, as I quickly found out, it would take all day to actually weld the seams all the way tight, so I just kind of welded until I didn't feel like welding anymore and said, that's good enough. Lots of fire, lots of smoke I shouldn't be breathing. Getting some clean welds too was a little bit tough, and that's entirely my fault because I didn't want to clean it up. It especially doesn't help if your sheet metal is super thin. But you know what? It's going to be a mold for fiberglass. It doesn't really matter. The gap over here is like ridiculous. It's at least 3/16, maybe even a quarter. Sticking those welds in was very tough, and you just have to be patient. I think it's beautiful, but it'll get the job done so I can put Bondo over it and make some fiberglass, that's for sure. I got the hood all Bondoed up, or in this case the green stuff's Evercoat, but you know. And I'll sand it. The goal was to kind of hide the hump, because a lot of getting into the hump there was a concave or maybe convex curve. Anyway, I just want it to like blend in, be very unnoticeable to the untrained eye, but probably any Mitsubishi guy is going to be like, hey, there's a bulge there, and that. So anyway, I'll sand it. It'll look beautiful. I'll block it. Nice. I got the first layer of Bondo sanded and I guide coated it, so all the black stuff is where it's low. I used a block. And then the inside of this scoop, I definitely rubbed out the corners, so I'll have to put those back in. I'll probably cut out this edge here. Make those all smooth. And then I think it'll be beautiful. Oh, and also I think getting this curve right is good, so I have that entry up, I think, pretty good. So I need to fill this side in. You can see where it stops here, goes low, and then goes back up. But then the problem I'm having too is this curve is getting followed, but then it just drops off. So I might have to hammer that in a little bit. But I'll do some more Bondo. I filled in these areas. This entire area is like a little valley, so I need to fill in more over here. This has some wavies, so I'll fill that, make it all smooth and beautiful. This is the one spot that's good, and it's the same on the other side. There's a wave right here, and then for some reason there's like a hole in the metal right here, so I put some JB Weld in there. This part is actually like pretty good, but it's just this part. It's midnight and 49 minutes, and I think this all came out pretty nice. I filled in some holes, just waiting for those to dry. I didn't figure I would really want to do a time lapse of me sanding, because I know it's boring as heck when I'm doing it, so I can't imagine trying to watch it. And then I also got these little holes over here wrapped up pretty well. There was some extended warpage. And then this back here is where the old spoiler was, but for some reason it's like all sunk, obviously, in that green area, so I tried to raise it up. I think I probably, didn't put that much Bondo in there. Anyway. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Really happy with how the scoop came out too. I had this old primer from about 5 years ago, and I had a little bit left, enough to do the hood, so I decided to use it. Plus, having one coat of paint can really help you see where your little imperfections are. Painting's a really simple process because it's primer, so just lay it on thick. You don't have to worry about runs or anything like that. And you can tell I initially started by thinking like, oh, it was a delicate paint, but no, I can just go for it. It is a little bit thinner than a lot of primers, though. It's not a build-up primer, so there are lots of little pinholes in the Bondo that you can really easily see. Once I had the primer sprayed, I could tell that there were a couple high spots, a couple low spots.
but also you get to see kind of the final picture of the hood that you're gonna make. And I'm really happy that this hood is coming out nice. It's vision. I didn't know what I was gonna get exactly. I didn't really have it in my mind, but I was gonna let the Bondo work just do it for me based on the needs of the build. And I'm really happy with how this is coming out. After spraying the primer, I found like a couple spots that you know, were a little high or low. Like these parts were a little high. You can see the little piece of gray sticking through. Same with that, same with that, same with that. And this part was low, and the pinch was like right here. So now we've worked that out. And that's gonna conclude the hood part. You can see I'm doing fenders, getting those ready. And that'll be the next video of this fiberglass 2GB Talon project. I think this is looking really good. Oh yeah. All right, thanks.